Hello professors, this is our next tutorial. This will be on tests, how to create tests and exams. And I believe this will be a time saver for you, and that once you've created this test you can use them for subsequent classes, and then the objective questions on the test, like true and false and multiple choice, the computer will grade those for you. Once you've entered in the answers, the computer will grade it for you once the student's taken the test, and you just have to go in and grade the essay and short answer questions. So could potentially be a big time saver for you. No tests have been created, so here it tells us that we need to go over to the Assignments tab and create an assignment. And again, we've already had a separate tutorial on assignments. I encourage you to go and watch it if you haven't already. We're going to add an assignment, final exam, and this is where we have to say it's going to be a test. And it's going to be fixed points, and it's going to be worth 400 points. And we are not going to publish it yet. We want it to be due on the last day of class at 11:59 p.m. As of right now, we're not able to make an exam due later than the actual course ending itself. So the course ends on March 19th, 2020, and that's as far as we can push things out in terms of due dates. I'm looking into that to see if that could be changed. But as of right now, a test cannot be due past the last day of class. We want to make this, we don't want to make it visible to the students before it's available, and we're going to make it available during a certain time. So I want to give them good time, a good enough amount of time to be able to take the exam. In my class, they're going to receive their study guide on March 10th, and then the exam will be due, as we've already noted, on the 19th. No time limit. We're not going to do anything here with this retake policy. We're not going to allow any retakes, and we're going to save it. So now our test is created. Go back to the test tab, and here's it says you have no questions. The exam has been created, but you have no questions. You might think, well, hey, I'll click on the questions tab. No, you don't want to click there. You want to click here, because that questions tab is actually what collects all the questions you have ever created, and we'll see why that's important in a moment. But here you're on the design tab within the final exam itself, and it says this test is empty. Start by adding a question, heading, or some text. So we're going to start by adding a question, and we're going to call this theological method. Perhaps you want to divide your tests up into sections. That's what I'm doing. This first section is going to be on theological method. I start every theology class on theological method to help students understand how we approach theology, why we do it, and so on. So a question under this heading would be, we're going to create a new question. It's going to be a true or false question, and it is going to say the academy is the native home of theology. Is that true or false? We would say that it's false. The church is the native home of theology. This is where church grows and thrives. Theology is for the church, not merely for the academicians. And so we have answered this question. It's false, so the student must select false in order to get the maximum amount of points, which is 1 on this question. We're going to put this under the category of objective questions, and we're going to save it. Let's add another question. This time, let's take from questions we've already created. Import an existing question. Okay. Here's another theological method question. How should we approach the study of theology? Give 5 principles and briefly explain each. And this one's not going to be worth 1, it's going to be worth 10. We're going to save it. And so we've got a couple of theological method questions, and you can continue to add questions, headings, and even text. Perhaps you want to add some instructions at the beginning of the test. Answer all essay questions as best you can. And I don't want that down here. I want it at the beginning. So you just slip it right up there. And so you go through and you create the questions for the test and the amount of points that each is worth. And then you can go and just check things out. How does this look? Hey, not bad. This is how it will look to the students. This is what the heading would look like. These are what the questions would look like. This is what the text would look like. This will tell you who's taken the test, and this will help you analyze it based on how students have done, how long they've taken, and so on. Really, this is a very straightforward and useful feature of Populi, and I expect it'll save you a lot of time. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I'll help you walk you through it so that you can make the most of this feature.